A native of Mooresville, North Carolina, was a 4-year starter at Alabama A&M. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
I have a dream today.
From slavery and segregation to the Great Migration to our present-day rising, the Black experience in America is a story of resilience, achievement, and unstoppable spirit. This February, we're curating amazing conversations celebrating the heroes, the pioneers, and the everyday people who made history. Black History Month on KBLA Talk 1580. Together, we carry the torch forward.
What is the world coming to? Seems like everyone is running from the truth. We just stand up and fight, walk into the night. We're the people, we can do it if we try. I know we can do it. Somebody ask me, why do we have to go through it? It's just a test of our faith. But we're living day to day. We don't know where, we don't know when. But it's coming back again. Oh, yes, it is. It's made of me. Oh, God, it's time for you to return. Oh, me. I know. Time to make a change.
Oh, yes, that time, truth time. So we count it all joy that we are together on this very day. Dr. West and I today will explore, lots to explore. One is French President, the President of France, Macron, is meeting with President Trump in the White House, and he has said that Europe wants to secure a lasting peace. Well, we're going to see how they secure that lasting peace and whose side are they leaning on, one or the other, or will there be a lasting peace for both Russia and Ukraine equally? Quite an interesting development to hear President Donald J. Trump proclaim that he wants to be known mostly as a peacemaker, as a president of the United States. My God, I hope, in fact, that turns out to be true. In other news, also the fact that MSNBC cancels Joy Reid's show, that is being talked about almost everywhere, and whether or not this is a pattern among mainstream media of letting go primarily Black TV show hosts. I can remember, I'm old enough to remember when Melissa Harris Perry was let go also from MSNBC. That was MSNBC. That was a shakeup of a lifetime. But is this a pattern, especially in the age of Trump? And what influence does President Donald J. Trump hold over mainstream media and how they plan to operate in this moment and also moving forward? And the family of Minister Malcolm X and their attorney, Benjamin Crump, they are asking the federal government to declassify the records along with the record. Put the minister's records right up there with JFK, President JFK. We know that President Donald J. Trump has made it clear that he wants those records to be declassified, and also the records of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. This is hot stuff today. But before we get to any of that exploration, the doctor is in the house to edify our souls, our hearts, and our mind. Dr. West, what say you on this day?
My dear sister, I'm just glad I'm still in the land of the breathing. But I think of Malcolm X's last speech that he gave in Rochester, New York, February 16th, 1965, 5 days before he was murdered. He was talking about a war on Black people. He said Black people are prisoners of war, psychically, socially, physically, economically, politically. And as you know, I was on CNN last week talking with Brother Jake Tapper. It's very kind for him to have me. And I was talking about Trump himself as a gangster and his gangster cronies who are very much sponsoring a war on Black people, on poor people, on working people, pulling the ground from under them in terms of their ability to live lives of material prosperity, and attacking them spiritually and psychologically in terms of acting as if they are sub or less than. You see that with these attacks on DEI and so forth. And the good news is, and I think this is so true in light of our reflections on Roberta Flack, that genius out of North Carolina and Arlington, Virginia, and Howard University, singing with Donny Hathaway and singing with so many other towering figures. The same is true with Jerry Butler, born in Mississippi, but growing up south side Chicago, singing with Curtis Mayfield and the Northern Jubilee gospel singers, and going home to write My Precious Love as a teenager, and then going on into politics. We set the standard of what it means to pursue truth and enact judgment. And Trump and his gangster cronies, they stand under judgment of our best. So this Black history sets the levels of quest for truth and justice, and Trump administration and anybody else has to be rendered judgment in light of their truth and judgment. That includes Black people too, because we got some Black cowards out here. This is a moment in which, if you're not just talking about courage, but enacting courage, you will be revealed and disclosed as the lukewarm person or coward that you are. And you think of these various firings I'm thinking about with Sister Joy Reid, and that's just top of the iceberg. You got Brother Jonathan gone, Lester Holt gonna be gone, Sister Alex, who was not Black, but sister of color, all of them gone. They being attacked as Black and brown middle class folk. Can you imagine what the life is like for Precious Jamal and Letitia in the hood?
That's right.
And when Malcolm says, if you can't respect brothers and sisters in the ghetto, then you don't respect me. I believe in that. I think that's actually Christian, but I mean, I don't want to get too theological today. But you got to be in solidarity with the least of these. And these are the times in which, if you don't put on the whole armor in the war that's going on, you're going to get crushed prematurely. Now, you might get crushed, but if we get crushed, we're going to get crushed with dignity. We going down with self-regard and self-respect, because we're going to tell the truth about this war that's going on. We're going to tell the truth about this organized greed and this weaponized hatred coming at Black people, coming at brown immigrants, coming at poor people, coming at precious trans, coming at our gay lesbian sisters. They all made in the image of a loving and a mighty God, and we will bear witness to that truth no matter how they think they will crush us. That's what resistance in its deepest form is, organizationally and individually, and we do it with the smile that Roberta Flack, the smile that Jerry Butler taught us, because we got a love and a joy that Trump and others can never take away.
Yeah, that part. Resistance in the face of all of this. And we will indeed bear witness. We're going to bear more witness when we come forward. You are listening to Truth Time on KBLA Talk 1580.
To power and to the powerless. This is Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Can I touch this? Where does sand come from? Is this tree good for climbing? What happens if I mix these two things together? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Storing your guns securely is the best way to prevent family fire, including unintentional shootings. For more information on safe gun storage and ways to keep your family safe, visit endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org.
What do we keep in the attic? What's this thing called? Can I ride my bike backwards?
Like I said, kids are curious. It's up to us to keep them safe. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
Ready to order.
Yes.
We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything? Fire everything. The Capital One Saver Card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Diane from Michigan, a disabled senior citizen trying to get by. Henry from Florida, a veteran fighting to make ends meet. Elena from Arizona, a mother struggling to feed her daughter. Hi, I'm Connie Britton, and I support Feeding America because they help provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year, like Diane, Henry, and Elena. Learn more at feedingamerica.org. Feeding America, 200 food banks strong.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down, get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
To thine own self be true. More of Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner coming your way right now on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yeah, the good news is, as Dr. West laid out, is that we set the standard. The tradition of Black liberation sets the standard and the pace. So, Doc, in that spirit, you know, the devil is certainly in the details, as the saying goes. We need the details, but I would have to admit that it is refreshing to hear the word peace. We didn't hear that throughout the last administration. The fact that President Donald J. Trump has the type of bravado that could go either way. You know, I describe him as a hockey puck. He gonna move. We just don't know. Sometimes we know what direction, but other times the puck may surprise us. So in his rhetoric, let's see if the rhetoric proves to be true in terms of peace. Now, he has said even before he took office at the second term that he was, in fact, going to come in and put an end to the Ukraine war. Again, the how is very important. The United States of America has invested billions of dollars into this particular war. But meanwhile, at home, people suffer disproportionately. You and I both have often said charity starts at home. It does. We're not saying that we can't be out there helping our sisters and brothers and family and friends in other parts of the world. As a matter of fact, we should. Charity starts at home. And it doesn't just seem, we got the receipts that in a bipartisan way, this Congress, whether and the president of the United States, whether it's Democrat or Republican, always has enough resources and money for war making, but not enough resources and love, dare I say, to deal with the domestic challenges that we have, from people needing health care in this country to increasing the federal minimum wage to doing away with the sub-minimum wage. We can go on and on. But Doc, to get back to what the French president said today when he was with President Donald J. Trump, he said, we do share the objective of peace, but we are very aware of the necessity to have guarantees and a solid peace in order to stabilize the situation. This is a very important moment. This is a very important moment for Europe. I'm here as well to discuss with all my colleagues to say that Europe is willing to step up to be a stronger partner, to do more in defense and security for its continent, and to be engaged on trade, economy, and investments. Let me just go on and underscore that part of what the president had to say. We can't ignore it. I'm not saying it's the main thing, but he had to get that in there. And I'm glad that President Macron was transparent about that. This ain't just about peace for the sake of peace. We got some trade stuff and some economy stuff that we have to deal with. But Doc, bringing forward the fact that these two leaders have come together to say that they want to push for peace.
Yeah, but you see, a gangster's peace ain't got nothing to do with justice.
Oh.
You see, peace is not the absence of tension where the gangsters still rule. Peace is the presence of justice where everyday people's lives can flower and flourish. So anytime you hear the language of peace coming out of the White House, it ain't got nothing to do with justice. It's got to do with money making, access to minerals. It's got to do with domination to make sure others are subjugated to you. And it's got to do with what we've talked about, the golden rule. It ain't do unto others. You'd have others to do unto you. It's I got the goal. I'm going to rule. And I'm going to keep the goal. And I'm going to keep ruling until the people organize and rise up and resent the forms of remembrance, resistance, and reverence. Reverence for human beings, given the dignity that all of us, no matter what color, gender, sexual orientation, religious identity, deserve, and the resistance based on a tradition of fighting, and the remembrance rooted in the wind at our back of the Roberta Flacks, the Jared Butlers, the Curtis Mayfields, the Gil Scott Herons, the Martin Kings, the Malcolm X's. We can go on, A. Philip Randolph's, and we can go on to Irene Clear, and so forth, so on.
Yes.
That's where we are now, and it's at such an unprecedented moment that we should never, ever be seduced by some of the some of the idols of the day. And the idols of the day are basically just flag and money.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely clear. President Trump has said to Ukraine, who has locked out of most of these conversations, that he wants some of that minerals for the money that the United States has already laid down. Now, Doc, listen, we spend a lot of money over there. I don't know. It depends on what he's going to try to do with those material resources, whether or not he would use that, in fact, to invest domestically. I mean, that would be the thing to do. It is problematic again, and our viewers, our audience, our listeners are going to hear us say this time and time again. It is very problematic that in the hegemonic nation known as the United States of America, that we don't have universal health care. It is problematic that we don't have it. This cuts at the heart and soul of something that you always stress, Doc, that that is a representation of love and a type of morality in a country that can afford to do so. Why are we commodifying healthcare in the United States of America? So the thing becomes, what is President Donald J. Trump going to do with all that largesse? Is he going to enhance the billionaire class, the multi-millionaire class, or will he enhance the material lives of Big Mama and Big Papa in hoods all over this country, whether they're suburban, rural, or urban? That cuts at the core of for whom are they trying to enrich themselves. Like, that's it.
That's it. And given the warped priorities of the White House, that you can rest assured that the billionaire class, the ruling class, are going to disproportionately benefit. That poor and working people will not be at the center. And when you actually look at these three fronts of the American empire right now, which is Ukraine on the one hand, which is the genocide that has been taking place in Gaza, and then what's going on in Africa with Rwanda and the Congo, and facilitating of the kind of genocidal attacks there. The United States playing a crucial role in each one of those fronts. And the end and aim is power and money making, profit taking, and very little attention to the most vulnerable, the poor and working classes in each one of those contexts around the world.
And we got to ask ourselves, how do we shake this? Because this is an epidemic. This is a disease. It needs to be treated. 911, what's your emergency? Greed and immorality has overtaken the world. That's my emergency. We have to find a way to deal with this both at home and abroad. It's insidious in nature. It just seeps through, and it seems to never end. And those are the questions that we have to wrestle with.
You're absolutely right. And for we black folk for 400 years, that's been the situation. So, it's not new for us.
We've been here before.
That's right. And of course, for the species, it goes all the way back to the history of domination, oppression, degradation. But the good news always is that there are sources for self-respect. Our dear sister, you see this text right here?
Yes.
Toni Morrison, the sources of self-regard. I want people just look in the eyes of Sister Toni. People coming out of Georgia and Alabama, and the genius that she becomes from Lorraine, same Howard University that produced Roberta Flack. That's Donnie. That's Toni Morrison too. The good news is that we got this love train, this justice train, this train that connects with our humanity, our beauty, our sense of agency, our sense of fighting and swinging and laughing, that can never be crushed. Yeah. They can kill individuals. They can kill particular persons. They can kill us. They can never kill that love train.
That's ever. It. That's it. And Sister Toni Morrison, Lorraine, Ohio.
Ooh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. She was molded and melded in right. Ohio. That part right there. That is the good news. Always got to bring the good news. Exploring further, the impact. We know that Sister Joy Reid, MSNBC canceled her show. Is all the rage right now. It's trending all over the place. People are really connecting this to things that MSNBC in particular. But Doc, in your opening monologue, soliloquy message to us, you named a whole host of folks, both Black and other sisters and brothers who have been let go by mainstream media. Some of this can be connected to ideology. Others of it, may be connected to the fact that the Trump era, so to speak, is having a profound impact on media. And dare I say, but for independent media types, like what we're doing right now, this stuff is really owned by a few folks. And so they get to determine who gets the microphone and also what the messages are that can be put out there. But no doubt that President Donald J. Trump has impacted mainstream media in ways that very few presidents ever have.
And that's why it's so very important that you have courageous and visionary folk like our dear brother Tavis with Talk 1580, KBLA Talk 1580, where people are still free enough, free in love and loving with their freedom to tell truths that are painful truths in light of the war that's going on. And to be able to have context like that is so difficult because so many of these other folk, they're employers, they're employees of employers who are just interested in making money. That's true not just for media on television. That's true for the Washington Post. Yes. That's true for the New York Times. That's true for the LA Times. That's true for so many of the major media outlets who in the Trump era go cowardly on us because they just want to make money.
And not doing their job as the fourth estate. I mean, really the press, freedom of the press is the only kind of non-political expression in the Constitution in terms of, it's not the Congress, is not the presidency. It is guaranteed, like freedom of the press is a major pillar within the United States of America. We see the erosion of it, and not just under Trump, dare I say. Other presidents, other administrations have meddled behind the scenes, maybe not as boldly as President Donald J. Trump, but let's not get it twisted. People make phone calls all the time, and you see certain messages coming out of mainstream media. I'm telling you what I know. Not only do I have colleagues, and some of those colleagues I call friend, I mean, I was a commentator on 2 of those mainstream media sources, and I can tell you how people were told what to say and what to do. There's like a rotation, and certain things are allowed and certain things are not. And when you have very few people controlling the media, even before President Trump, Doc, even before him, very few they control the media. We don't have many muckrakers as we used to have in that whole freedom of press. And so are they betraying that? And what is the erosion? And they're saying that Trump is targeting mainstream media. He has for a long time. And our confidence, Americans' confidence in media is at an all-time low. We can also trace that back to President Trump saying fake news. He drilled that in. Fake news. Whenever something was coming out that he did not like, then he determined that it was fake news. And if you say anything long enough, people start to see it and believe it psychologically as though it were true.
Yeah, you can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool all of the people all of the time. I was reading last night about the great Thomas Mann, one of the great German writers, and Albert Einstein, of course, known around the world, who was associated with Paul Robeson. And they received letters from the white media that said, if you have anything to do with Paul Robeson, it's like being associated with the bubonic plague. Stay as far away as you can because he's a dangerous man. And they said, no, we embrace him. Well, you see, that's way back in the 50s during the McCarthyist period with the anti-communist hysteria and the blacklist in Hollywood and so forth. And they just had the courage to say, we're following our truth and we're concerned about these black people. We have a critique of America. They also had a critique of the Soviet Union, but we have a critique of America, and we're not going to fall into this anti-communist hysteria. Well, we're living in a moment of hysteria. There's no doubt about that.
We are. When we come forward, we will continue this exploration. You are listening to Truth Time on KBLA Talk 1580.
The truth will set you free, but first it might raise your blood pressure.
I'm not jiving you, baby.
More of Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner when we come forward.
I'm Amber Payton with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. President Trump is praising an email from Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency asking federal workers what they did last week, calling it, quote, genius, unquote. Musk says no response by tonight will count as a resignation, though some agencies have told employees to ignore it. Chicago priest Michael Flager and other faith leaders are urging a Target boycott over its rollback of diversity efforts. The move follows Target aligning with President Trump's order to dismantle DEI. Retired General George Casey says President Trump's firing of African-American Joint Chiefs Chairman Charles Brown Jr. is destabilizing. He told ABC's This Week that sudden leadership changes create uncertainty and leaders should not be punished for following past orders. And Grammy-winning R&B singer Roberta Flack has died at 88. Known for hits like Killing Me Softly, she was the first artist to win back-to-back Grammys for Record of the Year. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
If you or someone you know is affected by the Los Angeles wildfires, you are not alone. No matter how sad, scared, or heartbroken you feel, Cal Hope is here for you and all those affected by the devastating wildfires. Find free, safe, and confidential mental health support at calhope.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Keep this name on your radar. Carson Benson, an offensive lineman at HBCU Alabama A&M. Benson, listed at 6'6", 305 pounds, is the only HBCU football player invited to the NFL Scouting Combine in Indianapolis. The Combine kicked off today and runs through March 3rd. It's a major exposure opportunity for college players to be evaluated by all 32 NFL teams before the draft in April. The fact that Benson was invited to the Combine is an indication that he has a pretty good chance of getting drafted. No HBCU player was selected in the 2024 draft. Isaiah Bolden, a cornerback from Jackson State, was the last HBCU player selected in the NFL draft. Bolden was a 7th-round pick of New England in 2023. We'll keep you updated on how Benson does with his skills competitions and interviews at the Combine. Benson, a native of Mooresville, North Carolina, was a 4-year starter at Alabama A&M. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
I have a dream today.
The road to freedom wasn't paved with just big moments. It was built day to day, step by step, voice by voice. This February, experience Black History Month through the stories that shape Los Angeles and beyond. KBLA Talk 1580, where Black history lives.
There's new reaction following the Trump administration's sweeping efforts to cut the federal workforce.
Fired but not forgotten. The Testimony Project. Bearing witness, breaking silence, building community. KBLA Talk 1580 is committed to amplifying the voices of Black federal workers impacted by the mass firings. Rooted in the Black tradition of testimony, this initiative ensures that those who served us are not erased from history. Through firsthand accounts, investigative storytelling, and community-driven dialogue, we intend to expose injustice, preserve truth, and demand accountability. If you or someone you know has been forced out of federal employment due to the mass firings, please contact us at info@smileyAudiomedia.com or via the open mic feature on the KBLA 1580 app. We want to hear from you and share your story. KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your Black.
What you want to do, huh?
KBLA Talk 1580 is thrilled to share that we have been named as a semi-finalist for the coveted American Climate Leadership Awards, honoring our climate work last year. We're also delighted to announce year 2 of our Climate Justice Crusade. This year's $2 million 12-month campaign will link and combat the relationship between climate change and poor health outcomes for African Americans and the poor. Climate inequities have taken a toll with multiple health triggers in the Black community, such as extreme heat and poor air quality, made worse by the recent wildfires. Our work to ensure climate justice and climate equity continues. In the coming weeks and months, you'll be hearing a lot more about our 2025 climate campaign. To learn more about our plans for this year and the companies and organizations supporting us, log on to our website at kbla1580.com. Caring about the climate, caring about the community, changing the conversation. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your Black. Who cares about the Black community in Altadena? We do. On Saturday, March 8th at 10 a.m., it's the premiere of Conversation Live, Altadena Rising with James Farr. This new weekly show will explore the deep roots and resilience of Altadena's Black community as we track its recovery and reimagine its future. From relief efforts to rebuilding, we're raising up voices, stories, and solutions to build back Black Altadena better and stronger than ever. It's Conversation Live, Altadena Rising with James Farr, every Saturday at 10 a.m., beginning Saturday, March 8th, with an encore presentation, Sundays at noon.
James Farr, the man who is the voice for Black Los Angeles.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your Black. This is where love and truth meet.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
You're listening to Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina.
It is beautiful that you are listening to Truth Time. Today, Dr. West and I have been exploring the peace talk conversations between President Donald J. Trump and President Macron of France. Also, the firing of Joy Reid, and what does that mean about a pattern that is happening not only in mainstream media, but even beyond that, the impact of President Trump 2.0 on whether or not freedom of the press is in fact a real thing in this moment. Also, we're going to explore the fact that the family of the one and only Minister Malcolm X is asking the federal government to declassify the records so the world can see. They also have a major lawsuit that they have filed against the FBI, the CIA, and the New York Police Department. They are being represented by Brother Benjamin Crump. Doc, before we continue our exploration on these topics, I want to bring forward, as we usually do, we make time to bring forward some of the comments in the chat on from the folks that are watching us on YouTube. Blessed Peacemaker, per usual, is right here again. Greetings, brothers and sisters from Kenya. God bless you, Dr. West and Senator Nina Turner. And God bless you, Blessed Peacemaker. It takes a lot to stay focused on peace, despite what's happening all around you. And that is why I'm just so thrilled to have Blessed Peacemaker on a regular basis. We have Sister Shayla Johnson. I think if we lean into community and true independence from all the tools that make these idols rich, we will take from them the source of their newfound power, our money. That's deep, Doc.
Oh, indeed. Indeed. Yeah. No, our dear sister is visionary. We got to somehow we got to get off these plantations in order to create our own commonwealths.
Yeah, isn't that the truth?
Create our own independent, autonomous institutions. But it's so very, very difficult because the economy makes all of us so interdependent.
Yeah.
And in order to have some kind of black institution, and of course, any black church or black mosque or black radio station that we work for, we have to have bonds of trust, and we have to have ties of empathy. We have to be able to work with each other in a respectful way, even if we have lower level disagreements, because we've got larger aims and ends that we want to achieve. And that's as much a moral and a spiritual question as it is a political and organizational one.
Yeah, it really is. And sometimes it's so hard to put that little small petty stuff, not that it's not important, aside for the larger good. We have to constantly deconstruct our construction as human beings. Please share. Those of you who are listening live, please share the KBLA app. Please do that. Tell your friends and your frenemies. We will accept the frenemies too, to listen in daily on a regular basis and support the work that we are doing here on this independent, unapologetically progressive network. Again, we do lift up Brother Tavis all the time for his vision to have a platform like this, which is needed now more than ever.
Took the words out of my mouth.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got Brother Morris Phillips saying, "In all things, get understanding." That's it.
Ooh.
In all things.
Oh, he's going back to that song by Jared Butler.
Yeah.
Ain't understanding mellow, and you have.
That part right there. Yes, we do appreciate those of you who are watching us live on YouTube, and for you pouring in your comments and or your questions. We will continue to read those throughout the show as often as we can, but we definitely count it all joy indeed. I want to move to the family of Minister Malcolm X and what they are bringing forward in terms of asking the federal government to declassify the records and bring them on forward so that all the world can see. Declassify the documents continue 60 years after the assassination of the one and only Minister Malcolm X. We have a treat for our audience, Doc, on this Teach-In Thursday. They can catch us. The person that we will lift up on our Teach-In Thursday will be none other than Minister Malcolm X. So it's been 60 years since his assassination on February 21st, 1965. During this Black History Month, you have the attorney, Benjamin Crump, imploring on behalf of the family that the United States government declassify those records because they see a connection between the declassification of those records and what they are charging happened at the hands of the CIA, the FBI, and the New York Police Department. In other words, they all were in on it.
No, I just salute my dear brother Benjamin Crump and certainly the precious family of Malcolm and Betty Shabazz. This is truth time. We want to know the truth about Malcolm. We want to know what was the role of the FBI in helping facilitate the murder and assassination of Malcolm. We want to know those played a role across the board, but especially with those FBI papers. Yeah. They were on Malcolm like white on rice, like wet on water. They knew
like black on coal.
Like black on coal. They knew every phone call. They knew every meal he was eating. They knew when he took the trip up to Rochester that I talked about before, the speech that he gave, the war against black people. So that was true, of course, not just on him, but this is true for so many of the black freedom fighters on Stokely Carmichael. It was true on the Nation Islam. It was true on the Black Panther Party. It was true on so many black freedom fighters. It was true on John Coltrane. Ain't that something?
Yeah.
They got fouls on John Coltrane blowing his horn. Good God.
The level of depravity.
The level of just spiritual sickness and moral decrepitude. That's been so much the history of the worst of this country. And now all of it's coming back. The chickens are coming home to roost. All of that greed, all of that hatred, all of that gangster arrogance, thinking that they can reshape the whole country and world in their own interests and their own image. And we've seen it before. Yeah. And it comes and goes. And we just have to have enough perseverance. We've got to have enough power in our hearts and minds and souls to work through it and work against it and come out on the other side, holding hands with our children, with the memories of those who came before.
Yeah, we got to do it, Doc. We don't have any other choice, and we do have footsteps that we can walk in. We don't have to create all of this from scratch. You know, we got folks who've done this before. And we just put some 21st century on it, but they've done it before. I want to go to some of the remarks from Benjamin Crump, again, who is representing the family of Minister Malcolm X, who want the United States government to declassify the records. He stated, on this historic day marking the 60th anniversary of Malcolm X's assassination, we formally request that the president declassify Malcolm X files. We are only asking for the declassification of our father's records, along with President John F. Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy, and of course, Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. added Malcolm X's daughter, Miss Shabazz. She added that to those comments, and we certainly, Doc, understand why they want to do that. Last November, on behalf of Malcolm X's family, Crump filed a $100 million lawsuit accusing the New York City Police Department, the Department of the Federal Government, of conspiring to play a role in the assassination of Minister Malcolm X. We know that they knew that there were grumblings. They probably stoked the flames. Those records will probably show that because, Doc, as you put out there, they were monitoring his every movement, even when he went to the Middle East to make Hajj. They sent folks there to follow the minister. When we come forward, we will continue this riveting conversation. You are listening to Truth Time on KBLA Talk 1580.
It's Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner on KBLA Talk 1580.
You say you never give in to a meltdown and never fill your feed with kid photos. You say you'd never put a pacifier in your mouth to clean it and never let them run wild through the grocery store. So when you say you'd never let them get into a car without you there, no, it can happen. 1 in 4 hot car deaths happen when a kid gets into an unlocked car and can't get out. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Did you know that 1 in 4 people seeking treatment for ED are under 40? HIMS can help. Get started at hims.com/joy. Through hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy.
Want to play a game with me and Dad?
Mommy's not feeling good.
You need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with Dayquil VapoCool. It's Dayquil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
Come on, honey. Let's let mommy rest.
You guys are amazing. And so is Dayquil VapoCool.
Dayquil VapoCool, the vaporizing daytime coughing, aching, fever, power through your day medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline nasal spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it! Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
The new year brings new health goals and wealth goals. Protecting your identity is an important step. Your info is in endless places that could expose you to identity theft, leading to lost funds. LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Resolve to make identity health and wealth part of your New Year's goals with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer? Can we sleep cooler? Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. And now save 50% on the new Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Limited time. Exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
Truth shall rise again. You're listening to Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner, only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Truth absolutely will rise again. Doc, I'm turning back to some of our commenters. And also, we have a poll going. So if you are right now engaged with us, please take the poll. The question is, will President Trump declassify Malcolm X files? Please participate in the poll. It's going on right now. Let us know what you're thinking. Is it going to be yes, of course, or is it no way? Let us know. And also, we want to shout out White Rabbit for your donation to the network. We really do appreciate your support of our work. That is a beautiful, beautiful thing. We have Gregory Calloway, rest in peace. Roberta Flack was 88 years old. Absolutely. Rest in peace. So, please take the poll, support the station, and also, if you're watching, share the link right now to help lift the station and help to lift Truth Time. Do that for us. We need that. So Doc, going back to what the family is really pushing for in this moment, we know that the threat that Minister Malcolm X posed, at least to the federal government, J. Edgar Hoover himself made it very clear that he needed to use the power of his office. And oh, yeah, he did. He wanted to stop a Black Messiah.
Mm-hmm. And he thought, of course, in his mind that Black Messiah was someone who loved Black people enough to tell them the truth, try to organize them in such a way that they constituted a strong threat to the powers that be. So in his own warped mind, he's thinking the only way these Black folk can really get organized is if they have a cult and they have a Messiah and they follow the Messiah and they're willing to live and die for the Messiah. We say, no, we know Ella Baker and others have taught us that there's other forms of organization, but he's certainly right about the love. Certainly right about the love. And 53 years ago, when Ralph McDonald and William Salter wrote that song, Where is the Love, that Roberta Flack sang with Donny Hathaway, that question is still a relevant one. Yeah. A crucial one. Where is the love?
It's always a relevant question to ask that. And love is powerful. It is not passive. Love is bold. It is courageous. It is selfless. It moves and it motivates. It stirs up the soul. Love is the most powerful force in the universe. It is the opposite of hate. And so it must be more powerful. Oh my God, Doc,
yeah, that's it. You can go on to 1 Corinthians, the 13th chapter. Talk about love and all of its various forms. It's one yet many. It's patient, but also revolutionary. It can make a way out of no way. You can step out on nothing and land on something. You don't understand the mystery, but you feel the power. It's like the wind that goes through your soul. That's kind of love Roberta's singing about. That's kind of love we need in the face of the Trump administration.
I learned to respect the power of love. Stephanie Mills, come on now.
That's Stephanie.
Yes. Ooh, it's hitting me right here, Doc. Hitting me right here. Oh, we doing this exploration here. Let me go on back to Brother Crump. He said again in this press conference, based on what we have learned in investigating these claims for our lawsuit on behalf of Malcolm X's estate, we are confident that these records will show that there was a deep state in the 1950s and the 1960s with J. Edgar Hoover at the helm that targeted American citizens, and specifically they targeted African American leaders like Martin Luther King, like Fred Hampton, like Huey Newton, and of course they targeted Malcolm X. These records will lay that bare. That's coming from the one and only Benjamin Crump, just enumerating. There's some others we can add to the list, but I know everybody is getting the flavor and getting the picture. Doc, when we come forward, we will continue this. You are listening to Truth Time on KBLA Talk 1580.
The station you turn to when you had it up to gear with cultural incompetence. KBLA Talk 1580.
I have a dream today.
The road to freedom wasn't paved with just big moments. It was built day to day, step by step, voice by voice. This February, experience Black History Month through the stories that shaped Los Angeles and beyond. KBLA Talk 1580, where Black history lives. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Imagine a Los Angeles where everyone can thrive, where communities have access to the resources they need to succeed. That's the vision of Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. They're dedicated to improving life in LA County by providing educational support, employment assistance, and spaces for community engagement. By 2050, they want LA to be the best place to connect, create, learn, live, and play. They're working toward an education system that's well-resourced and culturally responsive, becoming a hub for artists and innovators, and making sure everyone has access to healthy food, quality healthcare, and safe housing. It's about building a future where we all have the chance to succeed. We invite you to learn more about their mission and get involved with Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Time is up. The IRS is in full collection mode for 2024, issuing liens, levies, and garnishments to anyone who has a past tax debt or unfiled tax returns. Don't wait till it's too late. Your paycheck and bank accounts are at risk of being seized. Call now and stop the collection process today. If you're living check to check, no matter how much you're making, you still may qualify for the Fresh Start programs offered by the IRS to reduce or even eliminate your tax debt. It's just a 5-minute call to get your options, and it's free. If you owe back taxes, have years of unfiled tax returns, under audit, have a wage or bank levy, or finally just want to sleep better, business or personal, call the experts at Republic Tax Relief while there's still time. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and tough. This veteran-owned company has the fight you need to take on the IRS. Don't go at it alone. The call is free. Call their hotline number now, 800-652-1714. That's 800-652-1714. Find out if you qualify today. Call 800-652-1714 or go to republictaxrelief.com.
This is where love and truth meet.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
You're listening to Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner.
Love and trust meet right here on Truth Time. Doc, we got Miss Black Fox sending us all kinds of black hearts with a headphone, and she's shouting hallelujah. She hears us, is what she is saying in emoji. And thank you so much for that. So far on our polling, it seems that most people believe that the Trump administration will release, that those records will be released. You guys keep on participating in the poll. We appreciate it so very much. Yes, of course, is winning. And then White Rabbit, I don't live in the LA area. How can I donate to the Black Panther retirement? We know that our network, our station was involved in that. Hopefully the team can get in there and let them know how they can donate to the Black Panther retirement. And I will be happy to share Truth Time. Peace. Thank you so much for that, White Rabbit. We need you to do that. Doc, in our remaining moments, the fact that the Malcolm X's family, the courage that it takes to file such a lawsuit cannot be lost on us. Can you talk a little bit in our remaining moments about that kind of courage that you know, it will expose what the federal government, and it's not about Trump administration, that all this stuff happened way before he got in office, but it will expose the fissures and the type of hatred and level of degradation to what lengths the federal government went to try to stop those Black leaders who were loving on Black people, and their only goal was to get equality and justice for Black people.
I think my dear brother Trump, Crump, now don't say Trump, Benjamin Crump, that he'll discover that it's not just a deep state, but it was a deep state that was used as a tool in the war against Black people. And when a Gamble and Huff came together with Jared Butler, one of the few songs all three of them wrote together called Only the Strong Survive. You remember that album, The Iceman Cometh, 1968? Only the strong survive. And by strength, they talking about courage. By strength, they talking about deep depth of love. By strength, they talking about consistency and constancy. By strength, they talking about seeing things that are not visible at the moment, but come into light precisely because you're willing to serve and sacrifice. That is the best of Black history manifest in Malcolm and his family, manifest what Crump's trying to do with the family, manifest in Roberta Flack and Jared Butler, and it goes on and on and on, and it ain't no stopping us now at this most dim moment.
No, sir.
I see a light. And where do I see a light? In the hearts and souls of Black people and poor people and working people. And you can't snuff that light out with lies and crimes. We've been on intimate terms with lies and crimes, and it didn't snuff us out yet. We still fighting. Oh, Lord, have mercy. We gonna keep fighting on through Kendrick Lamar and Rhapsody and all the others. They still in that same tradition of a love train and a justice train.
Yeah, they are. We are indeed on the move. And the needle note for today, the function of freedom is to free somebody else. That is coming from the great Toni Morrison. The function of freedom, baby, is to free somebody else. Let that marinate, family. We may explore that a little deeper tomorrow. Thank you so much for being here with us on this day. We count it all joy. Until next time, you're listening to Truth Time on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.